Lobster got it back yet. Lobster's a 10 I told you grab it.
One Piece!
One Piece! Welcome to Lobster Magnet and Friends. We've got Zavule for this, the most critical chapter of
Yes.
One Piece. And he's available here in voice form because his camera went from Disco Scott, which we never uploaded a video with Disco Scott, unfortunately.
There might have been like little pieces here and there of Disco Scott.
Yeah, now it kind of like crapped out on it, but like...
Oh, it's dead.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's now dead. It's a toy now. And that's the fucking camera in my laptop, so that's just fucking awesome. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess
Great.
like,
I have to edit myself now. That's just amazing.
Well, actually, I got good news for you. Because I'm posting this video on my new secondary upload channel, which does not have monetization and will not until I get 10,000 views. You can curse as much as you want. Who cares?
Shit fucking awesome.
Yeah! Fuck, yes!
Alright, guys, let's make this extra blue.
Alright, so... I'm really curious. Finally, we got like an entire chapter devoted to the Katakuri fight, which I'm glad to hear. And I've been dying to discuss. What did you think of the big gag with Katakuri now that we've seen like his true face revealed?
Yes.
Well, I now understand why he's one of Big Mom's children. I just... Like, is that his actual face, or is that just, like, him mochi stretching his mouth out so he can just, like, gorge himself like some sort of terrifying animal?
I figure that's, like, him mochi stretching, like, kind of like how Luffy stretches out his mouth when he really wants to eat meat.
Although, actually, what I really want to know is, are those his real teeth?
They have to be, because Big Mom
those have to be his real teeth. Is he, like, half fishman or something? Where do the giant pointy things come from?
He just, like, fucks everything on the planet. So, she's going to get all kinds of genetic aberrations. So I guess maybe we'll see the Tooth tribe. Or maybe, she just saw some freaky guy and she's like, I got to add that to my collection. You're not a race, but...
You know what?
I don't know what you are, but I'm suddenly wet.
I am incredibly attracted to you because you are different, because we need to have a huge family. God, now I just really want to see like a really fucked up doujin of like Big Mom just like collecting weird, male husband.
I really
Oh
don't.
my god, let that be a spin-off, please.
Need this. I don't need this in my life.
Oh my god, that'd be so amazing, actually.
Just like the Elephant Man and all these guys with like these weird, genetic disorders.
Oh my god. Totally the best doujin idea ever.
But, the facade has been broken down. Oda gave us, like, a cute little quirk. And, it was kind of funny that, like, they made such a big deal. Dogtooth never lays down. He's completely poised. And even, like, the fact you're thinking, like, oh, man, does this guy really need to eat? I mean, I guess he's a member of the Big Mom Pirates, but at least he's taking it in stride. I'm going to have my Merida snack time. And he's like, is the hot black tea ready? We're sorry, sir. It went cold. Iced black tea will do just fine.
You're so kind. And then just whatever the hell that was.
And then he just wants his happy space, his literal safe space, so he can go, nom, 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 I like donuts. Donuts are the best. I get the lobby down, so I don't have to look like a little badass.
I was so curious about Zavule's reaction to
let's be honest, that's just all of us in private. Like, it's just as soon as we get away from like normal people, it's like, fuck pants. What? Donuts? Yeah.
I like donuts. Yum, yum, yum.
Even the holes are the best. Sugar gives me strength. Yum, 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 yum.
I just love how he's
killing the chefs. They didn't do anything wrong.
I just love how he's like hyped up to be like the most serious, like badass crew member of like the Big Mom Pirates, and then you see him in this moment, and just like completely like you're like a little bit disturbed, but also like, what?
It humanized him. I can now see him. I can now see why Oda included him in One Piece. 'Cause that's just been like the weirdest thing for months now. Like, what the fuck is going on? Who is this? Did you just like decide Guts was awesome and decide to cram him into your manga? Wait,
Well,
nope. All right, everything's fine. We are right back on track.
Yeah, because like he had that 90% like traditional badass design, the cool stoic boy, and he was like a better version of Luffy. And then no, he's just on the same level.
The stitches on his mouth, like, and that kind of mouth shape thing, kind of reminds me of like Moria, Gecko Moria, a bit.
Well, the stitches were kind of interesting. I'm kind of wondering, like, I don't think Oda has the time to give this to us, but I wonder if there's like a backstory where he has like some sort of messed up backstory where it was like he's got like this glass glow Joker smile or something because his mouth was ripped.
Big Mom gave him like a Glasgow smile because he couldn't eat fast enough or something.
Or maybe he wanted to eat so much it was honestly like I could see it like a mix of like sad and tragic. Like there's this like giant jawbreaker that's like 10 feet wide, and he's like, everyone's like, no one can eat it, and he's like, I can eat it. I want it so badly, but I'll lose my cool posture. All my siblings will make fun of me if they see me. And then he
rips his own jaw off and like sews on like a bigger one just so he can eat it.
Yeah, he like
and that's when Big Mom decides to get him the mochi mochi fruit. It's like we can't. You can't do that. We need to fix whatever is wrong with your face and make sure this never happens again. Although wait, since everyone thinks he's so awesome, it must have some kind of like ridiculous tragic backstory. Because there's been no indication that he's been this much of a dupe before.
Yeah, like, okay, none of his family members know about really anything about Dogtooth. Like they don't know like he has a huge mouth. They don't know he likes to lounge around. Like they've hyped him up so much. Like you imagine like at some point he's always with his family. Like they would figure it out at some point. Like
well, maybe he's just like completely well reserved, and he can build moichi castles, and there's like 8 billion of them. So if there's one thing that I'm very good at, and I'm sure maybe you two are as well, it's hiding when you're at large family gatherings because you don't want to answer awkward conversations about what you're doing for your career, and it's very easy to hide from large groups as long as you know where the quiet spaces are.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I don't want to deal with some of the more interesting relatives I have. So yeah.
It is possible to hide from big family gatherings and sort of make yourself invisible.
It totally is, especially if you dress like Dogtooth.
But like
and have the ability to make your own structures and no one. Oh, and maybe that's why he has such honed observation hockey.
So he can hide from his family
he just
better?
Doesn't want to deal with anyone, and so is so ashamed of his like weird lounging donut eating and obnoxious extended family that he's honed his hockey so well that he just like has learned to avoid all of them like 5 seconds in advance.
Oh my god.
I can see that. That makes sense. Although there's one thing I thought you would love in the beginning of this is like Luffy's about to use Gear 4th and then he like stops him, which you almost never see in shonen manga before transformation sequences.
Wait.
Yeah.
He stops him? What do you mean?
Yeah. The very beginning, like Luffy's like Gear 4th, and he's like, yeah, like I'm gonna let you do that. And
oh
like,
yeah.
Why would I let you power up? That is the stupidest thing I could do right now. If nothing else, Dogtooth earns my endless respect just for that.
I mean, with this whole chapter, I like Dogtooth a lot more. Even like this is an amazing like little side thing to have for, the commander of one of the commanders of the Big Mom Pirates. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like one of the because like usually what Oda does is like he'll have maybe someone look like Pika's like the inverse where it's like he'll have him look really badass but then he'll introduce whatever his quirk is really 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 quickly versus this where like he kind of played the long game with Dogtooth and kept him being like this invulnerable badass and had him like literally hand Luffy his ass to him for like the past several chapters, only to completely flip the script, which is why it feels much more rewarding than it would have happened if we'd seen this earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he's still probably going to kick the crap out of Luffy, at least for a little while longer.
Although now Luffy supposedly finally has his weakness or something, or like some people are theorizing that like he can only use one form of haki at a time or something.
That makes no sense.
One form of haki at a time.
I don't know what the deal is, but like you supposedly like maybe he can only use Armin and haki, and then he can't use his observation haki, and because Luffy finally got a kickoff on him, and for some reason Luffy seems to know that like a way that he can finally fight on par with him.
Here's another thing, though. How come Dogtooth didn't realize the roof of his house was gonna break?
Yeah,
he could have observation hockeyed that, I think.
Because he was in his vulnerable space eating donuts.
Yeah. That is like the one time he gets to let his guard down and just relax and gorge.
I thought that might have had something to do with his weakness, like him being found out, or like in his vulnerable space.
Maybe he can only do it for so long. Maybe using hockey that much is exhausting, and he has to like recharge.
That would make sense to me. And he has to recharge, and he did say sugar is strength.
Yeah. So maybe after like every fight, he just has to recharge or something.
He's got to go in his little mochi house and like do whatever he has to do. Time.
So I guess the general consensus is that we all enjoyed the gag and we all enjoyed the reveal of what Dogtooth really looks like, because it did strike that perfect mix between like kind of goofy and a little disturbing.
Yeah.
Because he's got the creepy teeth and he's got like the gash glow smile, which is like it's a nice detail in the sense that like Oda. I mean, I don't think we'll get a backstory. I don't think we have time to, but like. We can imagine our own like messed up or funny backstory of how he got it. But either way, it's kind of like slightly unpleasant.
Yeah.
Nothing good happened to lead to that smile. And whatchamacallit, but we also got like the trademark goofiness where he basically looks like Luffy, like stuffing donuts in his face while singing a little song.
Yeah.
Oh god! If anything, that makes me love him so much.
And I'm so glad this chapter was just like focusing on this particular fight too, not anything else.
I was so pleased that like Oda's just like finally dogging or dog-toothing, doubling down and like just like getting this out of the way. This is what we want to see. We want to see this come to a nice resolution. We don't want to flip around to what the Germa 66 are doing or Don Capone are doing. Their stories are done. They got out. That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know. And then you can have a wrap up in like a one-panel epilogue when the arc's over. Just like give us the resolution for Dogtooth and Luffy. So although how are you guys feeling? Do you want like Luffy to earn a victory over Dogtooth, or do you think Dogtooth should win and Luffy should like barely escape with his life or something? What would you feel like would be like the progression you kind of like think would be best for how things are going so far?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, Luffy did beat Cracker.
Yeah.
Because like the Cracker fight is a good example where like he was someone he was like Oda did a great job of setting up how outmatched he was, and Luffy kind of won through like a wacky method that I totally approved of. It felt earned and it's a little silly and perfectly Luffy, and it didn't feel like an ass pull. Just like I'm gonna friendship stronger. Well, and even though it was.
I feel like it entirely depends on how Oda lays out his victory. Like if this is kind of lame, I would have just preferred Oda to have Luffy just scramble out in a panic, because that kind of felt like the direction it was going anyway. But if he can come up with something that actually does make this victory feel earned, and not just like an ass pull, then sure. Let's see where that goes.
I think this victory would feel earned if he got it. Like,
I mean, I'll be entirely honest. I am really surprised that Luffy just hasn't tried eating him yet.
You know what? I can accept that victory, that Luffy just eats him. And then there's like a little smidgen of Dogtooth left, and that he somehow regenerates.
But Luffy did say he hated Mochi.
oh man, we could have like a little like front chapter adventure, like where Buggy had to get all his pieces back. Where like Dogtooth has to hide from his family so they don't see him like that, and like steal food so he can regenerate.
Oh my god.
That would be a perfect compromise. And considering how eating is so integral to this thing, that would be a perfect way to like sort of end it.
Oh my god, what if Luffy could somehow like blackmail Dogtooth, like he's saying like, "Oh, I'm going to show Big Mom what you actually look like," or something like that.
That goes against Luffy's character. Luffy is never like socially malicious.
No, he wouldn't do it on purpose. He would do it like by accident, like maybe like through like a mirror reflection, like Dogtooth sees Big Mom while he's in his true form, and he's like dodging out of the mirror, and Luffy's like, "Hey, wait a minute." And he like grabs the mirror, keeps on chasing Dogtooth with it.
That would be complicated, but that wouldn't be terrible. That'd be an interesting thing, the way it would play it out. Because it'll be very interesting to like do like the Captain Obvious, post match sort of fight breakdown in terms of like how this does resolve in like 1 or 2 chapters from now, and see like what did it feel earned, did it not? Because like Zavule, me and Goro have been watching Black Clover, the Black Clover anime, which
it's so bad.
It's pretty terrible. So, and it's interesting to sort of compare that versus like the master that is Oda at like shonen storytelling. So, like for an example, I think you saw that you read through enough chapters in the manga that technically you're ahead of us. You remember the magic entrance exam?
Yes.
You remember where you just like kind of like there's that asshole guy. It's like, I've got the ultimate defense magic ball, and I'm going to shoot magic bullets at you. And then he just kind of like slashes at him with his gut sword, and then he breaks it. And he says like, well, I'm going to beat you.
Yes.
And that's sort of like the most unsatisfying kind of like basic bitch shonen storytelling method. And it's interesting, when you have that, which like, I guess I'm a lazy person, piece of paper sounds adequate versus, something that Oda does, like, the cracker fight, which, felt earned with, like, Luffy eating all the crackers and Nami softening them up with her weather, and then him eventually coming up with, like, a subform of the Gear 4th, fat tank men, which was, hilarious and fun and felt perfectly earned, even though he was kind of outmatched.
Yeah. I mean, I Jesus, I now I'm just remembering Black Clover and feeling ashamed how far I got.
You actually read some of that manga too?
I read a lot of it just because it was like a train wreck. I couldn't stop.
I was amazed you like went through it. You got like 14 chapters deep. God,
it was so bad. It was just so bad. There was stuff that could have been actually interesting or entertaining that I could have enjoyed doing or reading, but oh god,
you should hear Asta's voice. His voice is just
I did. Isaac showed me. He showed me that parrot thing, and it's quite frankly the most accurate shit I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
the voice acting just probably gets like really repetitive after a while, especially with that scream. Just that's way too much.
Here, before we wrap this up, I'll tell you one funny thing though about the Black Clover anime. You know what like makes it a very special? That like it's a mediocre material. Hey, maybe you can get a above average adaptation to make it like better than the source material. Nope. Within like the second episode, there's pretty much like 20 minutes of filler.
Excuse me?
Even though there's like 130 chapters of the manga, within the second episode, they have 20 minutes of filler backstory.
I just don't know what to say to that.
And then the episode after that is completely filler. So already, before you even got people to like your fucking characters, before you have any decent iconography or a fucking world, you're already resorting to boring ass filler when you have nothing to do. When you have characters with only like one gimmick.
Look, you know why? Because I've read a chunk of this manga. There are no interesting characters. None of them matter. None of them are interesting. They're just generic cardboard cutouts.
Even the
Like
cardboard
they
cutouts
try to
are
make
more
them interesting because, like they literally just try to make the female characters interesting because boobs. Like they couldn't think of anything else, and the male characters are all interesting because they can punch things real good. It's terrible. It is absolutely awful.
To be
I
fair, a
feel
lot of artists do that. That's
Yeah, but they couldn't even do that well. It made me ashamed of reading it. I mean, Helsing managed to do that okay, but
the funny thing is that, like, you know, before even introducing, like, oh, these are the quirky guys of the Fairy Tale Guild Squad, whatever thing that he becomes a part of, you know, they're doing it with, like, the nun sister, and they do, like, the gag 12 times where it's like, marry me, nun! Ah!
no.
exactly like in that voice. Like Isaac isn't even tone deafing that one. That's literally how he sounds.
I'm pretty sure the voice actor is tone deaf anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know. It's funny, like reading apparently, supposedly the voice actor, like this is his like first role in something.
Are you serious?
And he will never get another one.
Oh my god!
It's funny, like there's like this whole little sub community of people are like giving this far more attention versus like, you know, it just sort of being gone and forgotten, because I think there's like a big marketing push on it from like Crunchyroll and other places, because, you know, there's like, we want a next big shonen hit. This is everything that means it should be the next big shonen hit. Why isn't this the next big shonen hit? And now there's like a little bit of a sub community sort of like, you know, examining kind of like in a morgue, doing a post-mortem, wondering like, breaking down all the parts of how it's failing to be the next big shonen thing.
Why can't they just like revamp One Piece or something like that? They just put their energy into revamping One Piece anime.
So One Piece is done by a different studio, and you know that train is going to go on forever. Oh God, can you imagine like 20 years from now when there's like One Piece Kai?
Oh my god, would that be amazing?
Yeah.
That would be pretty awesome. Just strip all the filler out and then condense everything in the time skip back to like 2 chapters per episode.
Oh my!
That'd be pretty awesome.
Oh my god! Imagine Dressrosa in like 5 episodes.
Well, I have this crazy idea. I don't think I'd ever be able to do it myself because one, it would take forever, and two, I don't think I have the editing talent. But God, I want to turn this into a thing. Like I call it the Gurren Lagann Iron Editor Shonen Challenge. And basically, like the appeal of Gurren Lagann is that it, like, oh God, I wish I could get you to like finish seeing it, Scott, at some point, because basically what Gurren Lagann does is it condenses like a 900 chapter shonen story, complete with a time jump, all into like 26 episodes.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
it's pretty much
crazy.
it's pretty much what it is. It is something of the scale of One Piece or Dragon Ball condensed down into a succinct 26 episodes, and it even like, you know, uses different like eras of mecha genre to kind of represent, you know, its period in like the pre-time jump versus the post-time jump arc. And like has a different tone, and it condenses a massive amount of material. So my challenge to anyone who's crazy enough, can you take like, you know, 800 episodes of One Piece and condense them down to 26 episodes? Is that possible?
You'd have to skip a lot of the early stuff.
I don't know, man. I feel like there's some insane person who could probably do it.
I mean,
I don't know if it's possible.
This kind of goes back to one of my favorite music videos, One Piece in 6 minutes. They do a pretty good. They do a really good job of that.
I think, yeah, you show them that to me, where it's like an AMV thing, and they got like all the things.
Like recruiting each crew member would have to be like one scene each, I think. Like Luffy just like stretching out and grabbing like Usopp, Luffy stretching out, grabbing Zoro.
Yeah, I would be really interested to see like that. To me is like the ultimate challenge, the Iron Editor challenge, and you know, see if you could like condense something like that's massive down to like just 120 season 26 episode run. So all right, so what are we scoring this thing? Let's wrap this up.
9.5 for me.
9.5.
This was amazing chapter. I'm so glad Oda's like back on track. The reason why I wouldn't give this like a perfect 10 is because like the arc has like dragged on a little bit. I kind of But this chapter was like so good within this arc.
Yeah,
Almost
but,
made
we
me
got
forget
some of
that.
that arc fatigue, but
it was a nice, concise chapter, which was what we needed, and it had a fun reveal that kind of like, lived up to your expectations and exceeded it in a weird sort of way.
yeah.
Because, like, I think you could have, imagined as many deformities as possible, but, like, I don't think anyone would have pictured it so perfectly that him just like, I love donuts. Donuts are the best. It had that perfect mix of, like, kind of scary, but, like kind of a little grotesque, but, like, 80%
Yeah.
goofy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I'd give it a 9. It was a good one.
Why not higher?
Because I want the fight to get a little bit further. I want a little bit more of like, because I want this fight to resolve. So I want it resolved in like next 2 chapters at most. And I'm hoping that like, whatchamacallit, at the very least we, stick to this fight and we don't go to something else.
Yeah.
Still good solid chapter of manga. All right, I should shill donuts, but like, I don't know if I could shill on because technically this is going up on a second YouTube channel, and like the way Amazon affiliate works is you have to like register your YouTube channel. So technically we're not shilling for the moment, but if we were, donuts are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you have to register your YouTube channel before you do that?
You have to register your URL that you're using that you're featuring on. So technically the URL I'd be using on the second channel is different than the URL I have on my main channel.
Well, let's try this. You know what? If anybody out there who is working at Dunkin' Donuts wants to give us a sponsorship, we accept.
Yes. I want free donuts.
We will make up a happy donut song for you.
Yeah, I'd be up for that. We will create the unofficial Dogtooth donut song on these reviews for anyone out there who works at a donut shop and wants to sponsor us.
But I guess, ironically, I'm kind of like, I'm trying to cut back on sugar a bit, so I don't know if I would actually eat donuts that much.
Well, good for you.
Every now and then I will, though.
I'll eat your donuts for you, Greg. I'll eat your donuts for you. And Zavule can eat your donuts too. All right, so thank you for your time. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.
Manga's made of iron, lobsters made of meat.